What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about Bloodborne and why it's my favorite Souls game I've ever played. And keep in mind, I played all of them except for Demon Souls and all the DLCs. Demon Souls and Sekiro don't have DLCs. But yeah, I played all the DLCs, all the games except for Demon Souls. I'm going to play it eventually. And Bloodborne is my favorite out of all of them. Before I played the Bloodborne DLC and Platinum of the game, it was like DS3. DS3 was my favorite game that I played throughout the series, but now it's Bloodborne. After my experience with it, I'm going to talk about that later in the video. But yeah, so I'm very qualified to speak on Souls, I think. I beat a lot of hard Souls bosses. Like, some of them, I beat some of the hardest ones without even using summons. So I wouldn't say I'm like the best or really good. I just say I'm good. I say I'm good at Souls games. So I'm pretty much a veteran. I'll probably like wipe the floor with Demon Souls once I play it. So yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's just get straight into the video. Now I'm going to start off by talking about my first experience ever with Bloodborne, how I got into it. So I remember it like clear as day, kind of. It was April 2025, like near the end of it, and my birthday is in May, and I wanted to get Elden Ring because I was watching a lot of gaming video essays. I still watch a lot of them, but I've just heard so much good about Elden Ring in the Soul series, and I really like medieval stuff and action games. I was like, yeah, Elden Ring looks cool. The Dark Souls games look cool, but I want to like try them out because I've heard they're really hard. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like even finish them. I'll just waste my money. So Bloodborne, if you don't know, it's free on the extra catalog. Now I purchased the game. Now I own the game and I own the DLC. When I first played it, I just had it off the PlayStation Plus extra catalog. So you can, if you have PlayStation Plus extra, you can just play it on your PlayStation right now. And so I download and it's free. So I'm just trying it out to see if I like Souls games. So I get the game right. I'm like, all right, this is really cool. The 30 FPS kind of sucks. That threw me off a little bit. But I got used to it after. Like, I don't know why people say the 30 FPS is so bad. Like, it needs a remake just because of the 30 FPS. Like, it really doesn't. But we'll talk about remakes and remasters later. So I wasn't really bothered because the game still looks very good. Like, it's some cutscenes and some points. The game looks very good. And I've seen people play it on PC illegally. And it looks really good there if you boost it up and everything. So if they ever made a remaster, I think it definitely would be one of the best looking Souls games ever. But besides, like, the graphics. But one thing that stood out to me, other than the graphics and all that, is like the gameplay. So I never really played any. I mean, I played like God of War and stuff like that before Souls, but it was kind of like that, but it was different. And then, like, Bloodborne, it plays a lot different than the other Souls games. It's a lot more like fast paced, and you have trick weapons and all this stuff. So it definitely wasn't like something like simple, or it wasn't really similar to anything I've played before. Like, the combat of Bloodborne is so good. It's so, like, the parry is so satisfying. But it upsets me that they made it so a lot of, like, the bosses, like, bigger bosses, can't be parried. And, you know, it makes sense that they can't be parried because, like, it's just a tiny little bullet. That's not really going to affect them, right? But a lot of there's way more beast bosses in the game than there are, like, bosses that can be parried. So I think it kind of sucks. If they ever were to do, like, a Bloodborne 2, I think they should focus more on making bosses parryable, because that's like the thing. The human opponents and like faster opponents that are more like your size, those are like the best boss. Like Gehrman, without a doubt, is the best boss in Bloodborne. Just because he's actually hard. He's the hardest boss in the game by far. He took me the most tries, and it's a really good fight. But I want to talk about my actual like experience. I'll talk more about the actual game and what I like later. But I'll tell you how I first got into it. So I was going about the game, right? The first area was actually pretty hard. It kind of reminds me of like Resident Evil 4 9 in difficulty, which is like the look of it with the town and a little fire in the middle and stuff. You know, it just reminds me of Resident Evil. But I'm going about the game, and I see this boss. I get to this boss, the Cleric Beast. I'm like, whoa, like this is hard. All right, this is already harder than a lot of things I play. Like, I don't know if I want to fight this guy. So I look up, is Cleric Beast optional? I type that in, and it's like, no, or yes, he is optional, you can skip him. I'm like, alright, why would I fight him then? I know I'm going to get some like rewards and stuff, but I don't need to fight him. I'm not going to. I only want to play the story. I just want to see if I can beat the story for this game. And don't worry, I didn't go through the game just skipping up some bosses. You'll see what happens. But I get to Father Gascoigne. This is like the roadblock, because a lot of people probably like me like, oh, the Cleric Beast is kind of hard. I'm going to skip this boss and go through the story. So I make my way to Father Gascoigne, and I get there. and I'm fighting him over and over. I'm throwing Molotovs. I'm throwing everything I got at this guy, and I can't beat him because I'm not good at the game. This is my first ever Souls game, and honestly, I mean, Bloodborne is like kind of a good first Souls game, but also not really, because like it's a lot more fast paced and harder to learn. There's a lot more mechanics like rallying and stuff that make the combat like kind of complicated to learn for a first time player. And so, like I'm trying to beat, I can't beat him, and it's like it gets to a point it's so hard. Like I delete the game. I'm like I can't do this. Like what am I doing? And I think like I was like, oh, I missed this. I can't give up on this game. I'm watching like videos about it just because it's not like I didn't like the game. It was just so hard I couldn't beat it. And I reinstalled the game, and I'm going through my playthrough still, and I don't know what it was. I was like 19 hours into the game, and I had to quit and do a new playthrough. I don't know if it's because my build was bad or what, because I can still see my save files. I started a new playthrough, so I started all the way from the beginning because I think I messed up on something. And so, yeah, I killed the cleric beast. I still have the video clip of it to this day. It's kind of nice going back and watching it sometimes. But I beat cleric beast. I beat Garamond, or not Garamond, Gascoigne. They sound similar. But I beat him, and I just keep going. Because now I know, like, I can beat these monsters. Right? Like, you just got to learn the move patterns and go get better with the controls in the game as time goes on. And it's really not that hard. So I'm going through. I beat the bosses. Some of them I use summons. Like, I don't know what it was when I first started Souls game. I was watching the Fighting Cowboy, right? Shout out to him. But I watched the videos. He would use summons, and I would use summons. And I thought it was just okay. It was like the bosses would get annoying, right? And after Elden Ring, like, I regret it, bro. Because I went through Elden Ring. Like, I didn't really take my time with it. I'll make probably a whole another video. Like, I loved Elden Ring, but I regret using summons on some of the bosses. Just because I feel like I would have much, like, gained more of an appreciation for the bosses if I didn't use summons to just get through them easier. Especially, like, bosses that I really like Godfrey at the end of the game. But, yeah, anyways, it's not about Elden Ring. This is more about Bloodborne. I use summons on all the bosses, of course. Like, some of them you can't even, like, I'm pretty sure you can't use summons on some of them, like Garamond. You can't use them. And, of course, in the DLC, like Lady Maria and Orphan of Cause, I'm pretty sure there's no summons for. And, yeah, a lot of I know I use summons on the Witches of Hemwick. That's when like the three witch bosses, I forget what they're called, but yeah, you probably know what I'm talking about if you play the game. But still, it's not like that bad. I don't really regret using summons in Bloodborne because it's my first Souls game, right? I gotta learn somehow. Like, I didn't expect myself to power through all those bosses on my own, right? But still, I get to the end of the game, right? There's a lot of good bosses, some dud bosses, like the actual Witches of Hemwick I didn't really like. But I'm at the end of the game, and this is like Garamond, right? And this is the one boss in Bloodborne that took me like a bunch of tries. Like, I think it took me 30 or 40 tries, and I finally beat him, and it was so satisfying. And I got 2 endings, and I didn't get the Moon Presence ending until like a couple weeks ago after I beat the DLC. I got the Moon Presence ending and playing the game and finished it off with that. So I finished both endings, and I really liked the game. I'm like, all right, I know what I'm doing in these Souls games. And I went really confident into Elden Ring. I was like, I'm going to beat the Tree Sentinel. That looks easy. Tree Sentinel kicked my butt, dude. Tree Sentinel was not easy whatsoever. I went in a little too confident on Elden Ring. I honestly, Martin wasn't that hard for me, but I'll talk about Elden Ring in a different video. But, yeah, I was like, I can beat these games now. I love them. I love the story of Bloodborne. I love the lore. I still think to this day Bloodborne has my favorite lore in the whole series. Like, it's really unique from everything else. Like, a lot of the other games are like cycles, right? Cycles of death and new worlds. Bloodborne is kind of a cycle, but it's more of like the consequences of the actions of humanity. I could talk about Bloodborne lore in a different video, but overall, I love the game. But I'll talk about more what I realized. Like, this game is really my favorite with the DLC. So, like, the DLC, it kind of starts off, I will admit, it starts off a little slow, right? So I'm going through this area, I'm, like, out of bullets and everything from the main game. I use them all up. And I found out a farming method by going into this shallow dungeon later, so I was just fully stacked on bullets and health. But I'm going through this area. I find this one arena, like the arena where you fight Lawrence later on. I was like, oh, there's about to be a boss. I'm lucky scared. But there wasn't a boss in there. And I keep going. And then I go to Ludwig's arena, and I wipe the floor with this dude. I ain't gonna lie, I beat like all of the bosses in this DLC under 10 tries. I was low-key scared. I heard like for the Cause, one of the hardest in the series. Ludwig, one of the hardest. Lady Maria. And I actually, I think it took me a little more 10 tries. I think it took me like 15 tries to beat Lady Maria. But overall, like, I didn't find the DLC to be that hard. Like, I thought it was pretty neutral, but I still enjoyed the bosses. Ludwig, really good boss. I really liked Lady Maria. Lawrence, I'm kind of indifferent about. I don't really care. He was kind of a basic beast boss. I don't even really remember fighting him. I have the video clip, but I don't really remember how I felt. In Orphan of Cause, honestly, it didn't hit as hard for me, even though I know, like, his lore is really interesting. The boss fight itself didn't hit as hard. I was like, oh, he's about to be bad. This dude's about to be the hardest in the whole game. And I beat him pretty easy. And honestly, I think Ludwig is my favorite boss in the DLC just because of his presentation. And it's a good boss fight, and the lore backs it up. But I think Lady Maria was the funnest fight in the DLC just because it's Hunter on Hunter. And it reminded me a lot of Gehrman. It was almost kind of like a clone of Gehrman, but she switched it up with her blood powers. So I don't mind it. I think it was a good fight. But so I finished the game. I collect a bunch of weapons and all the items I need to get the platinum for the main game. I 100% the DLC. I get all the weapons in the DLC. It was pretty easy except for this one annoying enemy, 2 enemies that you have to kill down in this well to get this weapon. That was the only bad part of platinum or 100% in the DLC. But the main game, honestly, I think it might be like the easiest platinum in the whole series because there's only like one missable thing that you need to get. You need to do the Iona quest. I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to do a New Game Plus because I don't have the thing. Then I just like not finish requests, and yeah, I was following a Fighting Cowboy guide. I was following his guide to do the quests in his videos, and I just left the quest. I left the last part of the quest unfinished. So I was like, oh no, I'm about to do New Game Plus. Hold on, let me check. I was like, oh, I can still finish it. I finish it. I get the thing. I get all the weapons, and all that's left. Everything's done. All that's left is the Moon Presence. So I fight the Moon Presence. It was pretty easy, honestly. There was this one annoying thing where he can make it so you can't heal. That was like the only hard part. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got him in under 10 tries. But I beat him, I platinum the game, and I'm watching the credits roll to get to New Game Plus. And I walk out the little starting thing, the starting like house, or I forget what it is, I don't really know. But the starting building you're in, I walk out, and you can see this like bridge, and it's red, the sky's red. It's this beautiful view, and it takes me back to when I first played the game, and all these memories I had with this game. And I persevered. I deleted the game. I came back, finished it. I'm basically reflecting my whole experience when not just this game, but this whole franchise. And I realized, like, dude, this beats DS3 I love water for me. Because DS3, sure, it may have better bosses. I may like Dark Fantasy more. But Bloodborne, it's like, emotionally, I'm attached to this game. Because it got me through a time, like, I was low-key feeling down that time when I found the game. Bloodborne taught me, like, if you persevere through something, the reward at the end is worth it. Because I quit. I gave up on the game at first, right? But there was something I was missing out on this game, right? I felt like I was missing out. And I wanted to finish it. I wanted to try it and get past those first few bosses, and I did it. And there's a reward at the end. One of the best games I've ever played, probably top 3. Probably my 3rd favorite game. I don't really know. My list always changes. But it's probably top 3 games I've ever played. I just love it. And I hope, if you haven't played Bloodborne, I don't think I really did any spoilers. Like, I mentioned some of the bosses, and there's some gameplay in the background. But still, like, if you haven't played Bloodborne, please go play it. Or, well, it doesn't even have to be Bloodborne. Even, like, if you've never played a Souls game, just go play one of them. Go try to beat one of them. Try one out for yourself. And see how you feel. I'm gonna be honest, this video's getting really long. I was yapping about Bloodborne for a hot minute, so I don't even want to do no crazy I don't even want to do a crazy outro. Just thank you guys for watching, and peace out.